I'm joined now by Democratic Senator Mary Landrieu of Louisiana. But listen, the senators that I've talked to, Senator, it's good to talk to you. They say there's no way in the world Democrats in the Senate are going to move forward on a budget that rips apart funding for Planned Parenthood, that rips apart funding for the Environmental Protection Agency. I mean, do you agree that that is one of the biggest contributors to this impasse?
Well, some of those issues, of course, have been part of the discussion, but the bigger issue is that we must keep our government operating. This economic recovery is very tenuous. It's very fragile. The last thing we want to do, I think, is hurt job creation in America. Democrats in the Senate believe we have to cut. We're willing to make very deep cuts, but not just from one part of the budget. One part of the budget didn't cause the problems, not just discretionary domestic spending. We need to reduce military spending where we can. We need to reduce mandatory programs where we can, and that's the bigger issue. It's not that we can't cut, we should cut, it's where we're cutting. But right now, we're hopefully close to an arrangement that will keep government moving forward, and we're working very hard and willing to compromise, which is something that some members of the Republican side in the Senate, in the House, have not been willing to do.
And here's what I don't understand. So while they're demanding a compromise from Democrats, they're also insisting on funding for Guantanamo Bay. And Democrats say, okay, we'll compromise on that. We'll fund Guantanamo Bay. They are demanding funding for Washington, D.C.'s opportunity scholarships, a worthwhile, worthy cause. But for people who want to get up and say, why is our government responsible for all of this? Democrats go, okay, we'll give on that. Let's fund the scholarships for poor children in Washington, D.C. schools so that they can afford private school.
Well, first of all, Democrats have been willing to compromise. You've seen it over and over again. Democrats in the Senate have been willing to try to meet the House Republicans more than halfway on the spending cuts. But there is a level that we just can't go beneath if all they want to do is cut domestic discretionary. If they want to cut some mandatory programs, if we want to cut some more out of defense, perhaps we can do that and raise revenues to close this gap. Democrats know how to balance a budget. The last time we had one, a Democrat was in the White House, President Clinton. We most certainly know how to do it. But it's not a place to tag all of these unnecessary riders on this bill. So let's stay focused, try to keep our government operating, compromise as we can, and hopefully this next meeting that's happening in a few hours will do just that. But I can tell you, Homeland Security cannot take many more cuts. And I'm the chairman of that committee, and I know what I'm talking about. We have ports to secure, we have trains to secure, we have airlines to secure, and the House Republicans can push these domestic cuts too far and leave our country at risk. And one more thing, congressmen and women will not take paychecks. We are not getting checks if the government shuts down. We've already passed a rule that's not happening.
But the House hasn't brought it to the floor.
Well, I don't know what the House has done, but the senators are united, both Democrats and Republicans. We will not be paid if there's a shutdown.
Senator Landrieu, I appreciate your time.
Thank you.